I don't feel like I'm ready for a video. I was not prepared, but I felt like it was really important that I stopped what I was doing today and that I made this. A couple weeks back, I kind of alluded to something that I did, which is very scary for me. It was very intimidating. So I actually had this idea a couple months ago, and I thought it over, and every time I thought about going forward with it, I was like, I'm not good enough, or like, no, it sounds crazy. It's like too much of a reach. And each week that went by, I was like, any time that I've ever said that to myself and went through with it anyway, it ended up being for the better. So I was like, I'm just going to pretend and act like I'm going to do it. And so as time neared for this to happen, I asked everyone around me, like my close friends, I was like, hey, is this idea crazy? Is this insane? Is it just like way too far to reach? And nobody said that it was too crazy. And then I started to think like, well, if there's even an ounce of a possibility for it to go through, then I should just try, because this is actually something that that I've waited 15 years to be able to have the opportunity just to try. So I was like, I'm going to do it. This scares the shit out of me, so I'm just going to do it. A couple weeks ago, now let me backtrack real quick. 15 years of an amateur experience, and then I just turned pro in July, and I've done one pro show that I'm proud to say I placed the top 10. I actually got 8th. With only 3 weeks to prepare for this pro show. So I was like, I don't know. I don't really know how I fall in the world right now. And to be honest, like even at this level, there's still stuff that's intimidating. I still look at the girl next to me and I'm like, man, I've got a lot of work to do. So it never stops. But that's the fun part. So anyway, five months later, I'm like, I'm just gonna go big or go home. And so I I applied to try to get invited to the Arnold Figure International, which is the second biggest competition in my sport in the world. So to put in perspective, like if you win the Arnold, you get a lot more points, but you're pretty good for like the Olympia. That's a good qualifier. So I was like, I have a pro status now, and I've done a pro show, so I'll just try to make my second competition like the second biggest one in the world. And that was so, like, every morning I would wake up and get this like butterflies, like nausea of like, what am I doing? Because I kept thinking, if they say no, at least I tried. Like I wouldn't have that regret of, well, what if I could have and I didn't try? The perception of reality is kind of lost for me right now, because some weird, crazy things have happened just in the last couple of years that I've learned not to listen to reasons. But then the other realistic part of me was like, they very well may say no for a good reason. There were a lot of very qualified, very, very qualified athletes applying. But that was the cool thing. I was like, even if they say no, I'm still in a position to give it a shot. And it was actually fun to apply. It's almost like playing make-believe. But then I thought, like, if they say yes, I'd better be on my game. And so I started prepping back in November. I pretty much skipped Thanksgiving. I mean, I went, but like I took my food with me. I think I had like a bite of some stuffing or something, but everything was like on point. My macros they're always controlled, but I like chose my prep foods. I was like going extra hard at my cardio, lifting like crazy, just practicing my posing and just dreaming. Because once I committed to that, once I submitted everything and was like, okay, it's out of my control, then I was like, well, now I'd better be ready if they say yes. So the last 5 weeks, I've been preparing as if that was going to happen. And it was just a nice feeling to be like, hey, there's a possibility there. And then today they said they'd find out like the third week of December if you get accepted or not. And they take like 15 people, I think. And then today I saw on Instagram the list that came out, and my name wasn't on it. But that was still cool. It was it was still cool to be told no. And I'm thinking, like, what an honor to be able to apply for this position, and even to not be accepted. I'm like, I feel good about that. And I think the reason I feel good is because it was scary. It was like, it was still very intimidating. But once I did it, it's like, hey, now I learned the process. Maybe it's better that they told me no, because it gives me some more time to do more work. I will get better. But I don't know, it's a humbling experience to have that happen. But sometimes it's really good to be told no, because then it makes you fight like a little bit harder. Because I'm one of those people that if you're like, no, you can't, I'm like, watch me. So this was a nice kick in the ass to not have made it, because that's only going to propel me and push me to improve for my next plan, which I haven't really thought about, because I'll be honest, I didn't put my energy or focusing on what I would do if I didn't get accepted. I only anticipated, like, if they do, I want to be ultra ready. And I'm actually really excited to watch the girls who did make it, because it's a nice competition. There are some very competitive bodies going, so I'm excited to watch anyway. But yeah, like, now I guess I have to reassess and kind of see what my plan is. But the thing that I'm also not doing, which is also important that I mention, because this is me last year would probably be like, oh, I'm not going, I'm gonna go binge now and do whatever. But I'm just gonna stay on track. I'm just gonna keep the same actions, kind of, still checking in with my coach, like, follow my diet. Like, there's really no reason to go off course if that's what my ultimate goal is. My ultimate goal is to get to the Olympia. And the way I looked at this is this was plan A to qualify, and I still have like plans B, C, and D available. So this could be a blessing in disguise. But the reason I want to make this video is because it takes guts to try, and I'm starting to feel really good about trying and not making it. I don't want to say failing, but I've gotten a lot of practice where I attempt something and it just doesn't work out right then. But it's also taught me that sometimes the timeline isn't what I expected it to be, that there are other routes, there are other ways, and in due time it will come about. But I don't know, I think there's something exciting about chasing after what you want, even if it sounds nuts. It sounds impossible. There's just a fun, if it's not going to harm you or detract from anything that you're doing, I think it's just fun to pretend and view yourself as able and qualified, because eventually you start to identify with that. And I think, like, if there's a job that you want and you're like, oh, I shouldn't apply because somebody else might get it or I'm not good enough, do not listen to that. I think that you should go do it anyway. And if you get some feedback on, like, maybe why you didn't get that job or why you didn't get accepted, now you know exactly what you need to do or what you can improve on. Or you might come back later and make the same attempt and you blow it out of the water. So that's the way I'm taking this, is like, either way it was a win-win. Either I got to get accepted and go to the Arnold, or I don't get accepted and now I'm fueled with more time to get where I ultimately want to go. But I thought that was important that I put that out there, because even at this new pro life, there are still things that scare the shit out of me, and I will still pursue them. But I preach this to my clients all the time, that you can't back down because you think that you might not succeed. And really, in this case, every other day I believed, yeah, I was going to go, or no, I'm not good enough, or, you know, maybe not right now, or there's a lot of people who are better than me who deserve to go. There were a lot of things going through my head, but every day I still treated it and acted like it until I got the confirmation that it's not going to happen in 2019. But that's cool. That's okay. So that's all I wanted to say. That's what I tried to do. That's what I attempted, and I'm not embarrassed about that at all. It was fun. It was very fun. So now I'm gonna basically continue what I normally do, until I can get a clear picture and game plan for what's next. And I'm gonna grow, and I'm gonna be a monster, and then I'm still gonna make it next year. I'm gonna be at the Olympia next year. That's all I wanted to say.